Oh, I'm so happy to see you again. Good to be with you. Ah, here we are again, proclaiming, celebrating, enjoying, savoring, trying to experience all anew the awesome truth that God is our loving and merciful Father called parent. Whatever language fits your experience and your adventure and the supreme reality and the brotherhood of man, the siblinghood of humankind, that we're all linked in a family. And my topic with you today is the Jellinek Curve and the kingdom of God. Well, what's the Jellinek Curve? In the tradition of Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a curve, and how can I, it's a big U-shaped curve. It's a U-shaped curve. And it's got all these little notations in short phrases along the path of this curve. And you can see an image of it on the blog post that's going to be associated with this video. That curve describes the path of alcoholism. And you start taking some social drinks, and then you take some more than social drinks, and then you start passing out, and you go down and down and down, and pretty soon you're at the bottom, and your spouse is throwing you out of the house, and your employer has fired you, and and gradually you figure out, and you go through the 12 steps, and you regain your life. That's the narrative. And whenever I have occasion to talk about a self-mastery struggle that many of us know from firsthand experience, I often have occasion to present that curve. But I always also say that you don't have to go down all the way to the bottom. You can get off the downward slope at any point. Just get the message and go straight across and pick yourself up from there. And I always also make the point that that's an image of world history. When it looks like everything is going down and what's going on, we can always get the message and short circuit the plunge. So let's short circuit the plunge. And how do we know? There are beings on the planet, let's just call them all angels, that we can't see. We look at the news, yikes, look at the news. But there's so much going on that we don't know. So we shouldn't do more than just try to be realistic and help one another in this arrival of light, and encouraging one another and keeping ourselves bright as we go. So there's a rhythm of history, and if I'm one of these higher beings, or let's just say God, and I know the truth in Jesus' parable about the sower. Sometimes you put out the message and yikes, it just didn't happen. And sometimes there's enthusiasm, but there's no depth. And when things get tough, what's the standard thing? Things get tough, the tough get going. But people with no resilience, when things get tough, they're not there. But then there are those who can hang in there when the sun gets hot and da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, it seems to me that if there's going to be a turnaround, a great mass of humankind, not everybody, there's so many people that are doing wonderful work. I have no idea the percentage. I mean, you can't gauge it from the news, but a lot of people need to get disillusioned with the materialism and the selfishness and the power struggles and all this stuff that's going on. Get disillusioned with that and come to the place where they're seeking truth and righteousness. And that's when the message can reach much more uh, receptive audience and have much more effect. Now, what's the kingdom of God about? It's the people who have the faith to realize that we are, by faith, what a gift, the sons and daughters of God. All right, and this kingdom starts, well, in the preaching of Jesus. And he launched this, and he's inviting everybody in. And he's not insisting that people all do the same things or think the same things or feel the same things, or there's a freedom, there's an openness there, but there's also a planetary destiny. And that destiny is that the will of God is done on earth as in heaven. Jesus showed us how in his life, and millions of people have said yes and are doing it now. I mean, you all, most of you, as far as I can tell from what I get, the people that see my stuff, most of you are just really doing fine already. And in some way, you don't need the message. But anyway, it just seems to me that when things look intensifyingly difficult, that's when we need the mind of perfect poise. That's when we need our wisdom. That's when we need to keep shining our light, so that that spirit within can be expressing itself, and keep that torch burning for a time of greater receptivity. And that time of disillusionment with selfishness and materialism, and that openness to seeking truth and righteousness, that's going to come. I may not be alive when it happens, but it's a sooner or later thing. And if we play our cards right, again with that mind of perfect poise, and letting our light shine, and trusting in God, and loving as never before, and the affectionate dedication of our will to the doing of the Father's will, all those things, we will follow Jesus as best we can, sometimes because of our beliefs and practices, and sometimes in spite of our beliefs and practices. But in following Jesus, we'll get where we need to go. And if we don't make it as individuals, there's no doubt about, this planet is in good hands supernaturally. And even if we don't observe it very much, we are in magnificent hands, and the destiny is not in doubt. So whatever's going on in your life and in our world, always know that you are a divinely created, infinitely loved, spiritually indwelt. That is to say, the Spirit of God has been sent to live, to dwell, to be within you, and to guide you every step of the way in this gentle leading of the Spirit. As an evolutionary free will son or daughter of the living God. Good day.